There we go. Okay, so what did you guys let u equal in this? Well, first off, I'm assuming you guys rewrote it, right? So you wrote that as the integral of what? -1/2. Good. Dx. So then you let u equal what? So then du is 2 dx. We don't need the 2. We can move it to the other side. So we have 1/2 du equals dx. Okay. So then if we look at our integral, we would have, this is u. So we got u to the -1/2. Dx is 1/2 du. But we got that extra x. So how did y'all handle that? Okay, so we'll take that u equals 2x minus 1 and solve it for x, and then we'll have a function of u that we could plug in for x. So we have then that if u equals 2x minus 1, then u plus 1 equals 2x. So 1/2 or divide by 2. I like to do 1/2 because if I write it as 1/2, we typically recognize it as a constant multiple that we can pull out of the integral. If I put divide by 2, a lot of times you guys don't catch that. So that's why I try to write it that way. So I have x, which is 1/2 u plus 1, 2x minus 1 to the -1/2, which is u to the -1/2, and dx, which is 1/2 du. I have 2 constant multiples, so I'm going to go ahead and pull them out. 1/2 times 1/2 gives me 1/4. Did you only pull out 1/1/2 there? Oh, on the exponent you got a positive instead of a negative. Well, that's going to affect all of the exponents in your answer too, because when you integrate, you're adding to the wrong thing, right?
But if I did this, the right steps, I still would have gotten credit, right? Even if it was wrong.
We'll talk about that in a second. That's a good question. Okay, so then what did you guys do? Distribute the u to the -1/2 to both terms there. We could actually go ahead and multiply it. So I've got u to the first times u to the -1/2 gives me u to the +1/2. Then I've got plus 1 times u to the -1/2 is u to the -1/2 du. So then I'll leave my constant multiple along and take the antiderivative. The antiderivative of u to the 1/2 will be u to the 3/2 over 3/2 or times 2/3. Dividing by 3/2 is the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal 2/3. Plus, the antiderivative of u to the -1/2 is u to the 1/2 divided by 1/2 or times its reciprocal, 2 over 1. Oh, plus c. I'll put our plus c there. So then if I multiply 4 times 2/3, the 2 and the 4 would reduce to a 1 and a 2. So I have 1/6 u to the 3/2 or 2x minus 1 to the 3/2 if I go ahead and change it back to my function of x. The 2 and the 4 again would reduce, so I have 1/2 u to the 1/2 or 2x minus 1 to the 1/2 or square root of 2x minus 1. Plus c. And that's it. Again, there's different ways we could write it. We could take the rational exponents and write them as a radical, as a square root. We could take the 6 and the 2, put them in the denominator, all of that good stuff. Do you guys have any questions?